She was in seat 13A. The bomb exploded at 31,000 feet. The town below heard her fall. 268 people were on the plane. Nobody survived. The plane left Karachi at 6 o'clock in the morning. Flight 247 to London. 268 people on board. Nobody knew that this would be the last flight for most of them. In seat 13A sat a woman named Fatima Khan. She was 42 years old. She was going to London to see her daughter who was studying medicine. She had a small bag under her seat with gifts inside. She had cookies she made with her own hands. She had a sweater she knitted. She had pictures of her grandchildren. Fatima was not a famous person. She was not a soldier or a pilot or a doctor. She was a mother. She was a grandmother. She was a woman who had lived a quiet life in a quiet house with quiet dreams. She looked out the window at the clouds. She smiled because she was thinking about her daughter's face when they would meet at the airport. The plane climbed higher and higher. At 31,000 feet, the captain said the airplane was on time. Everything was normal. The sky was clear and blue. Nobody knew that a man named Hassan had put a bomb in the cargo hold before the plane took off. Hassan was angry at the world. He was angry at his life. He wanted to hurt people because people had hurt him. He had made a bomb from things he bought. He had planned this for 2 months. He had walked past the airport security with the bomb hidden in a bag that said it was machine parts. The security people did not check him carefully. The security people made a mistake. At exactly 31 minutes after takeoff, the bomb exploded in the cargo hold below. The sound was like the end of the world. The plane shook like it was being shaken by the hands of God. Lights broke. Smoke came from the floor. The oxygen masks fell down from above. People started to scream. Fatima felt the explosion before she heard it. She felt the plane drop. Her heart jumped into her throat. The cookies she brought for her daughter fell from her hands. The flight attendant named Ahmed was knocked down. He hit his head on a seat. His nose started to bleed. He tried to stand up but the plane was moving too much. The captain's voice came on the radio. "We have an emergency. We have an explosion in the cargo area. The right engine is not responding. We are losing altitude. All passengers must brace for impact." Those words meant one thing. The plane was going to crash. Fatima looked around her. A man next to her was praying in Arabic. A woman 2 rows ahead was holding her baby. A young boy in front was crying for his mother. All these people. All these lives. Fatima thought about her daughter. She thought about telling her that she was coming to London. She thought about the wedding dress her daughter was going to wear next year. She thought about the grandchildren she would never hold. She put her head down and held the seat in front of her. The town below was called Sucker. It was a small town with maybe 50,000 people. Most of them were at work or at home. Most of them had no idea what was happening in the sky above them. But some people heard the sound. A man named Rashid was working in his shop when he heard the explosion. It was so loud that his shop window shook. He ran outside. He looked up at the sky. He saw the plane. It was on fire. One wing was broken. Smoke was coming from it like black clouds. The plane was falling from the sky like a bird that had died and could not fly anymore. Rashid called for people to come and watch. They stood in the streets and the fields. They pointed at the plane. They shouted. A mother brought her children outside. They watched the plane fall. The children did not understand what they were seeing. The plane was spinning now. It was spinning like a piece of paper falling from a building. The captain tried to control it but the controls did not work. The plane had been broken by the bomb. In seat 13A, Fatima closed her eyes. She thought about her husband who had died 5 years before. She thought about her mother who had died 10 years before. She thought about all the people she had loved. She thought about all the things she had not said to them. The pilot tried one more time. He tried to make the plane level. He pushed on the controls. He shouted at the co-pilot to adjust the engines. But there was no time. There was never enough time. The plane fell toward the earth. People on the ground could see it coming. They could see the fire. They could see the pieces falling from it. A young girl named Zara was playing with her dolls in her yard when she heard the sound. Her mother ran outside and grabbed her. They looked up together. "What is that?" Zara asked. Her mother did not answer. She only held Zara very tight. The plane hit the ground near a field outside the town. It hit so hard that the earth shook. The explosion was bigger than the first explosion. Fire went up into the sky like a mountain of flame. People in the town heard the crash. They heard it like an earthquake. They ran into the streets. They did not know what had happened, but they knew it was something very bad. The town below heard her fall. They heard the sound of the plane breaking. They heard the sound of lives ending. They heard the sound of the sky falling down. Rashid ran toward where the plane had fallen. Other people ran with him. The field was burning. Smoke was everywhere. The pieces of the plane were scattered across the ground like toys that had been broken. There were no survivors. 268 people had been on the plane. None of them walked away. Fatima Khan in seat 13A did not see her daughter in London. She did not give her the cookies or the sweater. She did not meet her grandchildren at the airport. Hassan, the man who made the bomb, had died too. He had been on the plane as a passenger. He had hidden in the back of the plane, thinking he could escape before the bomb exploded. But he could not. The bomb killed him just like it killed everyone else. In the hospital in Karachi, Fatima's daughter heard the news on the radio. The news said that Flight 247 had crashed. The news said that there were no survivors. She sat on the ground and she cried for her mother. The day after the crash, all of Pakistan was sad. The newspapers wrote about the plane crash. The radio talked about it all day. People in every city stopped and remembered the people who died. The government investigated what happened. They found that Hassan had made the bomb. They found that the security people had not checked him carefully. They found that many mistakes had been made. 1 week after the crash, the government made new laws. They said that all security at airports must be better. They said that all bags must be checked very carefully. They said that security people must be trained better. They called it Khan's Law because Fatima Khan was a famous name on the news. Nobody remembered that she was just a mother who was going to see her daughter. They remembered her because she died. 3 months after the crash, a memorial was built in Sucker. It was a wall with the names of all 268 people who died. People came from everywhere to see the wall. They came to cry. Zara, the small girl who had watched the plane fall, came to the memorial with her mother. She was old enough now to understand that something very sad had happened. Why did the plane fall? She asked her mother. Because one man was angry, her mother said. And his anger hurt many people. Can we stop angry people? Zara asked. Sometimes, her mother said. But we must try. The story of the plane in seat 13A did not end with the crash. It ended with a change in the world. After this crash, other countries also made their security better. After this crash, airlines began to check bags more carefully. After this crash, people understood that small mistakes could become very big tragedies. Fatima Khan became a name that meant something. It meant that one person's life matters. It meant that we must protect people. It meant that we must be careful and strong. In London, Fatima's daughter finished her medicine studies. She became a doctor. She named her first son Fatima Khan II. She told him the story of his grandmother who was brave and kind and who died because one man was angry. The boy grew up knowing his grandmother's name. He grew up knowing that his life was a gift. He grew up wanting to help people because his grandmother had wanted to help her daughter. Years later, he became a doctor like his mother. He went to work in hospitals in poor towns. He helped people who could not pay for medicine. He helped people who were sick and afraid. He did this work because of his grandmother who sat in seat 13A. The town of Sukkar built a school in Fatima Khan's name. It was a school for poor children who could not go to other schools. The school had a library. The library had books that Fatima Khan's daughter gave to the school. Children came to read in that library. They learned to read and write. They learned about the woman named Fatima Khan who died but whose name would live forever. The plane in seat 13A fell from the sky on a clear morning. The town below heard her fall. They heard the sound of sadness. They heard the sound of lives ending. But they also heard something else. They heard a call to be better. They heard a call to love each other more carefully. They heard a call to remember that every person matters. Fatima Khan in seat 13A was just a mother with cookies and a sweater and a heart full of love for her daughter. But her story changed the world. And that is the most important kind of story that can be told.